Okay, so this video is going to look at motivation and pay particular attention to what is motivation. Now, as you can see on the screen there, there's a basic 1 mark question asking you what is meant by the term motivation. So the question is, what is motivation? So if we look at what motivation is outside of a PE context, motivation is the driving force to achieve their desired goals. Okay, so you can relate, or you can place motivation in any category, whether it's school, business, work, or your general lifestyle. So motivation in terms of the actual definition, okay, is a driving force to achieve their desired goals. And if you put that in an exam, you would gain a mark. Okay, so if we're then going to look at the mark scheme of that, and as it says right there, award 1 mark for stating what motivation is. Motivation is the drive to succeed, or the desire, the want to achieve something. Upset, inspired to do something. So basically, if you can get something down regarding desire, succeed, the drive, the want to do something, the inspiration towards achieving a goal, then you're going to collect marks. So we've got 2 types of motivation which somebody could have, and one of them is intrinsic and the second one is extrinsic. So you'll see on the left hand side for intrinsic, the in is capitalised to try and highlight that this type of motivation comes from with the inside of you. So for example, it's a lot to do with you're doing it for yourself. So for example, you might go for a run because it makes you feel good, you like the feeling of doing it, and you are generally doing it for a sense of pride, a sense of achievement, a particular interest towards what you are doing, or some element of curiosity towards doing so. The motivation is intrinsic in terms it's coming from the inside of your body. Okay, so somebody may play football because they are interested in football, they like the feeling when they are doing it, they like the social element and the culture towards it. Some people may do it as a sense of achievement, okay, or a sense of feeling for pride. So somebody completing the London Marathon, okay, may do it for the pride, may do it for an interest in towards a particular charity, or they may do it for a sense of achievement. Okay. Secondly, we've got extrinsic motivation. That is motivation which comes from the outside of the body. So you're doing that for a particular reason. Okay, so for example, it might be for a trophy. Okay, then it might be for money. Okay, it might be to gain a particular recognition as an award. So the motivation comes from the outside of the body. So the 2 types, intrinsic and extrinsic. Okay, now you can have both. So for example, you could talk about a Premiership footballer. Okay, so they may be intrinsically motivated in terms of they've got a sense of pride they want to achieve. Okay, intrinsic in terms of their motivation to play well, but they may also have some extrinsic motivation in the sense of they're chasing money. So a player such as John Stones, a local Barnsley lad, okay, he went to Man City from Everton. Why did he go there? Well, one is because it's a better standard of club. Secondly, possibly because he's on £125,000 a week apparently. He's also got the opportunity to win the Premier League. But a lot of that is intrinsic motivation as well. It's the pride of doing well, okay, from himself, and also the sense of achievement. So we're going to look at another question, and that is explain how motivation can be used to improve performance. So I've just highlighted improve performance there because it's talking about how can motivation improve your performance. So some key words we need to look at there is possibly concentration, focus, desire, your drive, and how are those key things going to improve your performance. So I'd just like to pause the video now and have a go at that question. Bear in mind it is for 2 marks. Okay, so just have a little think about what you are needing for 2 marks, and I would certainly say that you need the word because in there. Okay, so it's an explain question, so we need the word because in there. Okay, so if we now look at the mark scheme, okay, award up to 2 marks for the example and explanation of how it improves performance. So if we look at the first bullet point, motivation focuses the performer or improves concentration. Again then, which allows the performer to perform more accurately. So for example, it might be a golf player, okay, it might be a goalkeeper in terms of concentration. Better concentration can result in better responses, okay, better decision making, less likely of making a mistake, okay. Or you could talk about completing the basic skills well, or if it was a fine motor skill where you need concentration, you could talk about that high levels of concentration are needed to carry out the complex or fine motor skills, whichever one you're talking about. Okay, second bullet point, motivation makes the performer try harder. Okay, so if you talk about trying harder motivation, it might be to run faster and therefore more likely to succeed. For example, a better running pace, okay, running a PB, which gives an opportunity for the performer then to try and win the race, or have a chance of succeeding a previous performance. Okay, and the final question, okay, which is the winners of the FA Women's Super League win a trophy at the end of the season. Okay, so evaluate, okay, looking at the pros and cons, the use of a trophy as a form of extrinsic motivation. So remember, trophy, you are extrinsic and motivate, you want to win a trophy. So you need to look at why that form of motivation is possibly good, the benefits of it, or why might it not be. Okay, so you need to look at two arguments, and it is for 3 marks. Okay, so in order to gain the full marks, you need to show an element of AO3, so the justification, which is the evaluation section to the question. So I'm going to pause it now, okay, and then you can have a go at answering the question and come back and we'll look at the marks. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at the mark scheme, and right at the top it says award 1 mark for each of the following points up to a maximum of 3 marks. So if you look at the bullet points there, we've got 5 bullet points. Okay, so a trophy is given once per year, so it's not overused, and therefore does not undermine intrinsic motivation. Okay, so the feeling of pride, accomplishment over a long season to win a trophy may well be an effective motivator. So you look at the Premier League, it's a prestige trophy, okay, because it's competed over such a long period of time. Okay, so could be a real reward because of the longevity of the season. Okay, the finale, the difficulties, the ups and downs of the season, and the prize of a trophy gives a real sense of achievement. The extrinsic reward of a trophy combined with intrinsic drive can work well together, and that is a real key point. So extrinsic reward of a trophy combined with intrinsic drive, so your drive to want to be successful, can work very, very well. The trophy on its own may not be big enough motivator for some. So for some people who may have won the trophy before, it may not be what gets them out of bed in the morning. Okay, so a trophy on its own may not be big enough. Intrinsic motivation drive is generally deemed to be more powerful than extrinsic, so performers will still need intrinsic reasons. Basically what it's saying there is that intrinsic motivation, you wanting to be successful, is the most important factor, the drive for somebody being successful or becoming successful. And you can look at that in a PE context in terms of exams. If you don't want to do well, okay, if you haven't intrinsically motivated to succeed, then you're less likely to feel like the extrinsic rewards of getting grades are relevant. So what I would do if you're looking at this, okay, have a look at what you've written, what marks would you give yourself, and then certainly look at the bottom bit here, accept any other relevant evaluation point about the use of a trophy as a form of extrinsic motivation. Answers must relate to the worth of a trophy as a form of extrinsic motivation. So there should definitely be the word trophy in there, and there should definitely be the word extrinsic motivation in there. So looking at both sides of the argument, which one's relevant? Did you put 2 for extrinsic and 1 for intrinsic, or how do you go about it? So give yourself a mark. Hope you found this useful. Thank you very much for listening.